You are now listening to
the Primal Armor Podcast.
This episode is sponsored by Executive Fit LLC. They build custom deadlift platforms, custom barbell storage pieces, and make indoor and outdoor signage for your home or corporate gym. Every platform that pairs with a rack is customized to that specific rack, so everything fits nice and clean. And they ship nationwide. Each platform has a logo applied in a way that makes it impossible to peel up from wear and tear. They even make custom nameplates for your squat rack. Visit executivefitllc.com to request a quote and see what's available on their store. That's executivefitllc.com to upgrade your deadlift game today. Welcome back again to episode 50 of the Primal Armor Podcast. I can't believe that we're officially 50 episodes in. When I created this thing back in 2019, I really didn't know how long it was going to last and how far it was going to go. And we've taken some breaks along the way, so it's taken a bit to get where we're at right now. But I'm so happy and so proud to be able to say that we're officially 50 episodes into the podcast. And like I said, there's been some breaks, and those were much needed in my life because things have been crazy, but that's just life, am I right? But unfortunately, with my extended break that I took when I was away in the fire academy, it really hurt the outreach of the podcast. And social media sucks in general, but especially these days, and it's only continuing to get worse. It's a great tool to help promote business and other exciting things that are happening in people's lives, or at least it was. Before I went on my break, I was getting tons of engagement in all of my posts, all my stories, challenges that I was doing, and everything in between. And that's because I was going hard all the time and posting things all the time. Especially back during quarantine. There was multiple posts a day because I was reposting people that were doing the challenges and I was making new challenges. But these days, as soon as you become stagnant on social media, the algorithms that they just throw you right out of the mix. And people don't see what you say or they don't see what you're posting. And that's a problem for all business owners out there. Just think about it. You probably follow hundreds, if not thousands of people on social media across all the different platforms. But you're probably seeing the same 5 to 10 profiles day in and day out. And that's because the algorithm of social media sucks. They choose who and what we see. If you aren't what the platform deems right, they'll just bury you. And I have thousands of followers across all my different social media platforms, but the engagement dipped after the break. And those are because the platform saw that I got stagnant and they just pushed me aside. But now I'm working even harder than ever to finally get that back. And I'm going to push even farther than what I ever had before. But it's not just me that this is happening to. It's everyone. Like I said, you're seeing the same few people all the time. And I've seen plenty of examples of people with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of followers that make a post and they get 100 likes or 100 views. And that's just sad. They're doing absolutely nothing wrong. It's just that social media sucks. And I totally missed the TikTok trend. If I would have gotten on there in its opening days and been consistent like I was on Instagram with my challenges and Facebook and stuff like that, I could have taken off and had a huge following. But now it's almost impossible to just hop on in the middle of the algorithm and take off. And that's what makes this podcast so hard, is you have to get on at the right time and get in with the right people. Places like Apple Podcasts and Spotify, where I post this podcast, they don't advertise for you. So you have to do it all yourself. But social media these days makes it almost impossible. And that's why I'm trying so many different ways to get the word out to you guys. I've teamed up with some other people through other platforms, and we've tried to help each other out by intermingling our followers so we can grow our businesses. And that's just because you have to team up with other people these days. You can't just trust social media in itself. But the more people that I can reach and the more people I can help, the happier that I am. And if I'm not reaching people, then I'm not doing my job. And that's the really discouraging part of this. So that's why every single day, and I'm not exaggerating, every single day these days, I'm getting in the App Store to see what the next social media hit is going to be. I want to hop on that next TikTok trend before anyone else does and get it rolling. Because I don't know what it's going to be, and I don't know when it's going to be. But when I'm not physically recording this podcast or editing this podcast, I'm still working hard on Primal Armor. I've even branched out at this point and started our own Patreon account. For those of you who don't know what Patreon is, it's basically a social media platform for content creators and not just people with their own personal profiles. And this helps limit a lot of those stupid algorithms that are on all those other platforms because you're weeding out so many other profiles and other people. On Patreon, you can set different tiers up that followers can join in on and that help support the show. And they have varying perks depending on what one you choose. Patreon also lets you set times for posts to drop, so you can have people get special early access to some of your content. They also handle all the merchandise sales, so I can get you guys posters, stickers, mugs, t-shirts, stuff like that for whatever you're interested in, and are just extra benefits to be a supporter of the show. I'm trying this out to try to beat all of the other social media problems that people are struggling with, so we can have a centralized place to share information, and so nothing gets lost in the background anymore like it does in all those other platforms. We currently have 3 tiers, but that could change if we really start to see some traction take place over here. Patreon has been around for a while, so I don't know how quickly this will take off and how it will run, but we're trying every single thing that we can do to make sure we get our content across to you guys and to help you guys out. Our 3 Patreon tiers are, number 1, supporting the Primal Armor mission. This is just a spot to directly donate to our mission for finding a cure for Huntington's disease research. You get a custom sticker when you join this tier, but you also can remain anonymous so you don't have to let everyone know that you joined or donated. Our second tier is becoming an official Primal Armor supporter. This tier is the same as the last one, but if you choose this one, you also get a custom shout out on the Primal Armor podcast. That's just a little added perk so you can get to be part of the show. And the third and best tier that we got is becoming a Primal Armor VIP. This tier is similar to the last 2, but it has even more added perks. Becoming a VIP gets you another special shout out on the show. It gets you a custom coffee mug that you can enjoy while you're listening to the show, and a chance at a monthly Ask Me Anything, so you can pick my brain on a topic we've never covered on the show before, or to even go more in depth on one we have done, and so you can learn more if you'd like. Or even if you have whatever else nonsense question you got, that's where you can get on, become a VIP, and ask me anything you'd like. You also get early access to all of our content before anyone else on all of the other platforms. So that's the special VIP treatment that you're going to get. And this is just a bunch of extra stuff that I want to give you guys for being such great supporters of the show and for being the ones that keep me going day in and day out. You guys are what keep me going. And that's why I want to make sure I'm getting the best content across to you guys and in the best ways that I can. If social media is making it this hard, then I'm just going to keep trying harder and harder to find new ways to do it. Patreon is one of those ways that I'm trying to do it. So I'd like to hear what you guys think about it. So check it out and then reach out to me and let me know. But honestly, that's why social media sucks. It should not be this hard. We had an episode a while back with Dan Burke about the pros and cons to social media. One of the big pros was outreach for people like myself who want to spread the word about what they're doing and reach as many people as they can. But now all of that is screwed up, and social media is leaning to be even more negative than it was before, if that's even possible. A big part of me leans towards going off the grid every single day, and I lean towards that more and more, and especially since everything revolves around the internet these days. The internet is supposed to make lives easier, not harder. And yes, there are still plenty of ways that it does make things easier, like talking to your family on social media that are across the country, using Google Maps, checking the weather. But for straight up promotional purposes, it's dying so quick. And that's what makes me think that things like Facebook and Instagram won't be around much longer unless they make some major changes. I hated the TikTok trend when it first started, and that's why I never got one. It was just so addictive. The less technology I could have, the better. But then I realized the outreach that people have on it, and I wish I would have jumped on board back during those COVID days. That's why Facebook and Instagram started doing Reels, because they know and they're backpedaling to try and keep up with the competition. And I think that if they don't find a better way to handle their algorithms, you're going to see people who run businesses on social media, which is a huge portion of it, they're going to take that jump to the next platform that comes, like I'm trying to do. Because I know other people are also eyeing the App Store every day to see what the next big trend is going to be. So for now, you're going to keep seeing me push real hard on the different platforms that we're on, trying to just break through that algorithm and make it to the front again. Because I want to be back to where we were before and even push farther than that. I'm just trying everything that I can do to get a better product out to you guys. And with that being said, we have finally upgraded our recording setup. My wife bought me a studio quality setup for recording. So now I can finally get the best product I can out to you guys. My mic now is the Shure SM7B. And that's the same mic that Michael Jackson used on his Thriller album. And it's the same one Joe Rogan uses on his podcasts, as well as so many other big names and artists and podcasters out there. A lot of those reels that you see when people are talking on microphones and you can still see it in the glimpse of the frame, that is the microphone that you're seeing. It's because it's the best one out there in the market. My buddy from work is a musician, and he has one for his band. So after hearing the microphone quality that he had, I started studying recording setups and was convinced that this was the one that I needed. And I have the best wife in the world, and she spoiled me for my birthday. And she's spoiling you guys now by getting me this entire setup to record the podcast with. I've been doing a ton of studying lately, and I've been referring that in previous episodes this season, that I've been on Reddit and other stuff like that, just trying to study about making a better product for you guys. I always did my recordings before on my phone or my laptop. So I had a huge learning curves in actual audio equipment that I needed to study before I made any sort of commitment or purchase. I needed to know what I was doing first. Now I'm in the process of doing the same thing with actual audio editing, because I'll be the first one to admit I have a long way to go on that front. Because I know episode 50 is 1,000 times better than episode 1 ever was. So I want to keep getting better so I can say the same thing one day about episode 100 versus the one we're doing today. Another thing I've been diving real deep into is entrepreneurship and marketing. And that's what inspired me to record this podcast and cover this topic, because I know how hard it is these days. Like I said a few episodes ago, there are millions of podcasts out there, and it's already so hard to market my brand. So social media is only making it harder. So I've been reading a ton of proven entrepreneurs and other successful podcasters and small businesses about their different methodologies that you're using. So maybe I can try to mimic what they're doing and help spread the word and grow this podcast. So I hope you guys have been able to tell a huge difference in the audio quality from this episode and the last one. I know we still have a long way to go in the actual audio editing, but I hope just the pure audio quality from this microphone to what I was recording before on my phone is a huge difference for you guys. So you guys won't hear the humming and buzzing, background noises and pops and crackles from before. And I've been so excited for this, and it's given me so much more motivation to push even farther than before and see how good that we can get this podcast and how far we can get Primal Armor to go. We're 50 episodes in, but that's not even a drop in the bucket. We're going places, and I'm glad to say that you can be here and say that you were here from the start. I'm going to keep bringing you guys the best product that I can, and I'm going to keep studying to do that. But if you guys have any sort of suggestions or input, and especially about our new Patreon account, never hesitate to reach out. I love when people reach out. We've had people reach out a lot this season since we came back, and I cannot explain how much that motivates me. Is when people reach out and tell me that they're glad that we're back, or they think that the topic that we went over was just a really good topic and it really resonated with them. And that just motivates me even more. So if you've ever thought about reaching out and thought, just maybe I shouldn't, please reach out and tell me what you think. Even if it's good or bad, I don't care. I'm here for the constructive criticism to bring you a better product. I love when you guys reach out with support, questions, suggestions, and especially dad jokes. This week's dad joke is, what do you call a cow with 3 legs? Eileen. Are you looking for the ultimate home gym setup? Upgrade to Surplus Strength. Surplus Strength provides custom gym spaces, universal pulley systems, and other gym attachments for your home gym. Visit surplusstrength.com today. Before we end today's episode, I'd like to give a quick shout out to Anchor Podcasts. They distribute this podcast to you guys in just about any platform you may try to find us on, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. All the recording, editing, and final touches are also done through Anchor, which makes getting the Primal Armor podcast out to you guys very quick, easy, and mobile. You guys can also submit questions or voice messages that I can add to our next episode. Go download the Anchor.fm app today to check out what it's all about. I just want to thank you for listening to today's podcast, and we'll see you back here again next week.